Happy Monday. This is the Melodic Investor. My name is Antoine, and I wanted to come on and make a quick video about when you should think about replacing your home's systems and your rental property systems. And that's like, plumbing, electrical, HVAC, all the heavy stuff that's going to cost you money down the road. Don't forget, please like and subscribe. I would love to grow this channel, and hopefully I can provide more benefits to you as you start your investing journey. And any questions for those of you who do not know, the purpose of my content is to help people who are maybe creative, and to help them get more into the investing side. In my experience, most creatives tend to stick to creating and don't think about investing. And I believe when you can free up your time to be able to create or get into creative space, you can just be more creative to create. And basically, my philosophy is have an investment and give it 10 years of building a rental portfolio, investing in stocks, or creating a business, something of nature. And the goal is within 10 years, hopefully you are making enough revenue from that resource to be able to buy back more of your time so that you can spend more time creating or with family or whatever you choose to do. So it's a freedom, time for freedom. So you're trying to create some margin in your life. But anyway, back to the purpose of this video today. When I purchased my duplex, it was a 1947. And it had original everything. It was like walking into a time capsule. 1947 had basements that were unfinished, and all of the systems were truly outdated. Everything from electrical to plumbing to windows, I mean, the whole nine. I essentially had to do a full rehab. I gutted everything, and we did the HVAC, which it didn't have air conditioning, so we had to add that. We even had to do the duct work. We had to place the water heaters, all those things, you name it. But I wouldn't encourage someone on their first deal to do that. That was a little bit even ambitious for me, looking back on it, but I'm glad it's over with and done. When you're first starting out and when you're doing your due diligence process, let's say you're at the point where you found a property that pencils out, you like the cash on cash return. In simple terms, cash on cash is just how much money after all your expenses you get out of the property every month. Some people call it yield. Whatever you call, that's what you want to look at. So you found a property, a home, that you want to rental property. You one thing you're going to do is they call it a home inspection report. Personally, I don't really like home inspection reports, just because, and for those of you who don't know, I've been in the real estate industry for 20 years. I've worked on the property management side specifically, and I've done 10 years in the multifamily and then 10 years in the commercial side, which is all I do now. It's more commercial based, but the rules still apply the same. I personally don't like home inspectors just because they're not really experts in the specialty items like your plumbing, electrical. They're not experts in that. They just know enough to say, hey, something's not right. And I like to think of them as notice people who will basically give you notice, like, hey, something not right here. And they're in and they're out. So what I've always done, I've hired called around to different vendors and contractors, your local plumbers or whatever. You want to have a sewer scope done, and most lenders will require you to have those things in place anyway. But you want to have a sewer scope done. You want to have your plumbing looked at while they're there, have them do an assessment on everything, and even give you a price to replumb it. You want to have if you have it, HVAC looked at. You want to have all of your systems that are crucial. You want to have those looked at, right? Now, as for in terms of appliances, there's not too much you can do about that. Like your dishwasher, washer, dryer, refrigerator, no owner is just gonna like that. To me, that I wouldn't agree to swap those out because they're old. So that's just something you got to take into account and make sure you factor that into your numbers. But get the serial numbers off of those appliances, and if you got equipment that's dated, make sure you leave yourself enough room to be able to put a new appliance package in if you need to. And there's different ways you can save on that. One of the ways you can do is, I know Lowe's or Home Depot, you can catch them on a holiday or something like that. One thing I've done is find your local appliance store. And even if you're in a pinch, you have to get used equipment, sometimes they will put warranties on it, or you can look at the clearance rack and see what is available. People who unboxed something and returned it to Home Depot, Lowe's, I know they have a clearance section as well. That's always something to get. You can get 20% savings there. And if you buy everything as a group, that's always best. Me personally, when it comes to appliances like that, like your washer, dryer, refrigerator, range, microwave, hood vent, those things, there's a few brands that I tend to stick with. Anything that is US made, I will get that. The reason why I do that is because, one, they're easier to work on, and then two, parts are readily available. So most appliance guys that you call when they need to come out and work on your systems, if it's American made, they usually have it in their truck. If it's not American made, that means that they have to put a special order in and they have to come overseas. You don't want to deal with that. And it usually, like your Bosch, LG, some of those, I can't think of all the other brands, they're not made here, so the parts aren't as readily available. Doesn't mean they won't be available, but in my opinion, you want to stick with the US made brands just because those parts are easily and readily available, and they are going to be much less expensive. That's just a tip right there. But generally, appliances are going to last anywhere from, the standard is 5 to 7 years. That being said, some of your older appliances, if you've found stuff in the 70s or 80s, to be honest with you, they just made things more built to last back then than they do now. The newer appliances, if you get 5 years, consider yourself a win, especially if it's heavy use. Maybe you have a larger unit, like a 4-bedroom or a 3-bedroom home. It's going to get a lot more usage, so just be prepared for that. And oftentimes, depending on what it is, it's probably not worth it to repair it. So that's a benefit. That's a cost analysis benefit that you have to look at an individual case-by-case basis. I wouldn't just change it out just because. It depends, what part has gone out. So that's how I think about the appliances. And not only that, but you also want to put in energy efficient stuff. Even though the equipment back in the day was built to last, it really was not the most efficient. So efficiency does matter, because then that's a selling point when you make your advertisement. Hey, this is Energy Star rated appliances, things like that. People will look for when they're coming to rent it, because let's be honest, utilities are expensive. Same with your toilets. If you have the newer toilets nowadays, they are meant to be more efficient with their usage of water, how big the tanks are on the back. So, and you can usually find a toilet for $100, maybe 120. So, and that's going to bring your water bill down, which tenants will love that. What else? Water heaters. Water heaters are another one that I would look at. After about 7 years, they tend to build up a lot of soot and the settlement, the stuff at the bottom. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but anyway, if you looked in the inside, it would kind of corrode and be rusty. They're not as energy efficient, and most places, shouldn't say most, it depends. You have to look. If it's a gas, it's going to be cheaper than getting an electric water heater. Electric water heaters, in my opinion, aren't as efficient as gas. Gas is just cheaper. It heats quicker. Electric is runs constantly, I think they've made better electric ones, but if you could go with the gas, and I would go for the gas. Now, let's just say you're in a home, and this is something I had to do. Another hot tip here. Let's just say you have a water heater that is electric, and it goes out. Well, if you have to replace it, you may want to look at gas, because then what will happen is you can free up some room on your panel, which will then give you space to add in a car charger for people who have electric vehicles. I have done that. So because a lot of people are moving towards the electric vehicles, especially if you're in the inner city. So just something to think about. Know your client, who you're going after. You know your customer. So just a note there. What else? Let's talk about your so the water heaters. Those are not that expensive to replace it and have the peace of mind. If your water heater is corroding at the bottom, you just go ahead and replace it. Save yourself the headache. And that that can run anywhere from $1,000, $1,200, just depends. HVAC, very important to look at. Those can hold up a little bit longer, depends, but a lot of people are converting them because there's something going on with the I forget the exact thing, but the refrigerant. One of the refrigerants are being not banned, but basically they're going to go obsolete. So people are converting them over to the one that's going to be around for a while. So something to think about. But that can run $5,000 to update your whole HVAC system. So it's something you want to consider and think about. And maybe you do a piecemeal it, while you can, or something like that. But again, I like to have an HVAC contractor come in and tell me how much is going to hurt. What's the damage going to be? Another thing you want to look at is plumbing. Do you have galvanized plumbing? Which is a old style plumbing, and it was not built to last. If you got 30 years out of it, consider that a win. It builds up and corrodes and can burst if you have exposed piping in the basement or anything like that. So something to consider. And honestly, to replumb a space is not that hard. So you can find, if you have a handyman or something like that who has done it before and can do it, and then you can have the plumber come out and do like the heavy lifting and then sign off on it. That's always something to consider as well. But generally, it's not that much to replumb a home, especially if you have a crawl space, or preferably a basement, because you can just do everything from the basement. The drops are easy. And then the roof, you want to make sure you have a roofer come out and inspect that. You want to have basically a tradesman for each system come out and look at the place. That's what I do, in addition to the home inspection, because I'm basically looking at the home inspection as a holistic thing, and then individually I want to get it from the experts, my plumber, my electrician, coming in, looking at my panel, making sure I can use the wiring, if it's up to date or up to code. If I wanted to add things, do I have room? Those are all questions you need answers to. And windows, you want to look at the windows, because that's going to, again, it goes back to the efficiency. Those are things that I would look at, and that's why I encourage people, for your first rental property, if you're new to this industry, in my opinion, I think you should stick with anything from like, I don't know, the mid 70s and up. I wouldn't go below that unless you just found a deal of a lifetime and you had resources, or you have handyman that contractors that you have a relationship with, that you could use. Because you don't want to get into a project, especially midstream, and then realize, or you buy something and realize this is worse than what you thought, or worse than what you anticipated. Go in eyes wide open, because this is a large purchase, probably the biggest purchase that you will make in your lifetime. So you want to make sure that you're going in totally informed. What else did we not cover? I don't know. I think I got a lot here. I didn't want to make this video too long, but again, just wanted to give you guys some food for thought when it comes to your appliances and systems. Systems, if you can get all your systems taken care of from jump, that is going to save you those midnight to late phone calls. And just for me, it gives me peace of mind that, okay, I know I did that. I know I did that. Check, check, check. Done. If you do nothing else, take care of the systems, or have a plan to take care of the systems. Let's say you can't touch it for 6 months. Okay, but at least you know you can start getting things together, because once it goes, doesn't matter. You got to stop, drop, and roll. You got to get it done. So hope this video was helpful. I appreciate you guys. Again, like and subscribe, and we'll talk to you guys later. Bye.